Um, as I started to put this book together, and I had gotten this advice from a friend of mine, which is write a book that you want to read, I cast around for models, and I settled on Moby Dick, a driving adventure story, and then the opportunity to hang all of these other pieces off of it. And so I thought I would call it Seasons of the Moon, and it would be set in the depths of the Arctic night. I had always loved the Arctic literature, and I thought I'll read all of this lunar mythology, and that'll suggest all these really interesting things, and I'll have this fabulous book. It'll be great. I'll be done. So I spent about 6 months reading all of this lunar mythology, Norse mythology. I read the Icelandic sagas. And the book, at the end of that time, was just a dead thing. There was nothing. There were no characters. There was no setting. It went nowhere. It wasn't moving at all. And I thought, okay, well, this is a terrible plan that I have. And it was part of a larger plan. At that point, I'd been teaching high school for about 4 years, and I thought I could do this. I like it. It's fun, but it's a moment in my life where I could leap. And I thought if I could live anywhere in the world, where would I live? And I chose Paris, although I'd never been there before. I spoke no French. I had no job. I had no place to stay. I didn't know anyone who lived there, and I didn't have any money. But I was planning to move to Paris and write novels and never return. That was my big plan. And as the time grew closer and closer that I was going to leave, and my novel was more and more and more of a failure, I thought this is probably not such a great plan. But at that point, I had this sort of momentum built up to go. And so I was about to head off. I was living in western Massachusetts at that point, and it was June. So it was swelteringly hot, as that part of the world can be. And I had a younger sister who had a black cat, and that cat was in heat. So the cat had to be locked in the house. The cat is yowling. It's sweltering hot. I'm reading Crime and Punishment. Raskolnikov has murdered the old woman. His nerves are fraying. And I'm thinking, what's going to happen to me when I land in Paris? Where will I go? What will I say to a cab driver? Is there a midtown in Paris? I mean, I didn't know anything. And so the week before I was supposed to leave, and of course the novel was a total failure, and there was no writing going on of note. And the week before I was supposed to leave, I didn't sleep a wink. I didn't 4 or 5 days right in a row. I didn't sleep at all. So there's the cat yowling, Raskolnikov, nerves fraying. What's going to happen in Paris? I was completely stressed out. 3 o'clock in the morning, I lay back on my bed, trying to calm down and trying to sort of have some vision of the future that would be somewhat sane. Related to sane would have been good. And I looked over in that moment, and I saw the tremor of my heart beating in a glass of water on the nightstand, down through the bed and through the floor and up. I could see the tremor of my heart beating on the glass of my nightstand. And this is the opening of the book. There was a day my heart did not beat. Sometimes I wonder what day it was exactly that it began. A day when there was peace, when peace was possible. The day that peace ended. It is, of course, a day I cannot remember, a faint cleaving in the red darkness, when my heart welled up and drove me squalling into the world. My heart has troubled me ever since, shuddering me through my days, too strong for its casing. It is not the seat of passionate loves and great despairs. I wish it were. It is simply too strong, a brute muscle whose pounding has kept me awake nights, shaking my bed and rattling the glass on my nightstand. And with that, in that moment, I had the core image of this character, Brendan Kane, and the animating idea of this novel, his struggle against his heart that he battles against, that wakes him up from sleep, that drives him through the battlefield, out into the Civil War, deserting from the Civil War to a dock in New Bedford, Massachusetts, where he is offered 2 years of work on a ship with no idea where it's going. And with no other prospects, he decides that he will go. He comes to find out that the ship is headed up into the Arctic, and the passage that I will read, that Don has asked me to read, which I might have read anyway, is a moment where they mutiny on the way north. They're fighting their way through the ice pack. It's very brutal and difficult, and none of them know where they're going, and so they mutiny to find that out. And the sponsor of the expedition, a man named West, says, as soon as we sail off the edge of the known map, I'll tell you where we're going, but not until then. And if you want to be put off before then you can. But only at that point will I reveal the moment, the true purpose of our voyage. And so the passage that I'm going to read is the night before they sail off the edge of the known map. And the purpose of the voyage will be revealed. Gentlemen, we have come to our point of turning. We move now into unexplored and uninhabited territory where we will remain with luck till the end of our voyage. Tomorrow we will build a cairn on that headland, he pointed to the east, and there deposit a record of our plans and any such letters and notices that you would like to leave behind. You may occupy yourselves tonight in that endeavor. Tomorrow night I will reveal to you the purpose and nature of our voyage and detail to you your stake in it. You are entering the arena of your trials. If there are any of you who do not wish to go, we will put you ashore here with such supplies as you need to survive. In a week, these waters will be teeming with whalers, and you will have no problem being picked up and returned to New Bedford. None of you will be compelled to come, but neither can you turn back after tomorrow. From here, we go only forward. He looked over us, smiled his cold, officious smile, and returned to his cabin. Dinner that evening was surprisingly somber. There was little speculation about our fortunes, about mines or whales. Men sat and ate in silence. Even Adney was subdued. He volunteered to write a letter for those who could not. I retired to my bunk early with a scrap of paper and a pen and set out to compose a letter. I began several times and crossed out my words. I had no one to write to. My baffled parents, I supposed, because they were obligated to care whether I lived or died, because they should care how I met my end, if end I was to meet. I had no substantial friends from the tavern, from the war. I had passed away from them now. I begun a new life on board the Narthex, one only faintly connected to my previous one. Writing to no one, I struggled to find something to say. Was I writing a will, a testament, a philosophy? I had none. I understood nothing. There was nothing I could venture that did not seem at once ludicrous or trite, that was not the vague, false regurgitation of some other, better mind, the reflection, no doubt, of some other, better life. For a moment I wondered where that life was being led and who led it, wondered if the air might taste different or the light of the morning pass brighter through those eyes. I looked out at the crew in their berths and back among the men in my battalion, dusty, sunburned faces. Back to the sailors in the tavern, to my poor, bewildered parents. I thought of all of them stumbling into their days and wondering who might see differently, if the doctor with his instruments or Aziz in the darkness, if the world shaped itself around them. I had the vague hope that whatever West had promised was true, that it would be worth his health and fortunes, that it could make mine. I tried to ask what it was I wanted, what I might hope for. Perhaps I should suck rocks. Then at least I would have something to crack my teeth on and feel the bits of teeth in my mouth, feel the unnatural jaggedness of broken teeth, taste the salt of real blood. Then at least I should taste something real, the weight of a real answer to no question, but an answer nonetheless, and the accompanying taste of salt and stone, tooth and stone. You hold back in your heart the secret hope that there is actually glory to be had, that there will be a day when a choice is presented to you, and in that choice the hope for a new world that this one so badly needs. If you seek madly, if you flee and ask and blunder, batter your way against the world, the days pass the same, each with its pain, its build and crest, each with its slide into darkness. And you amid them are revealed the same. You stand naked, compromised, barren. And thus I lay there for long minutes, as that blank face accused and indicted me, blank page for my blank mind, blank my history. I thought for a moment of Seaman Brommer, of his chest with its neat, careful folds, and his grim-faced parents. Surely it was not love that made him keep their picture. Surely it was habit or guilt. Surely it was fear of being exposed as alone, a last insulation. Surely love is not such a weak thing, such a twisted and lost, such a distorted, compromised thing. Surely that is not love. I knew not. I had none. I crumpled my paper, and I slept.